By tonight or tomorrow, we might finally discover whether alien life exists. This is no joke, and not enough people are talking about it. Before we go deeper, subscribe now for real-time updates, because what's about to happen tonight could rewrite human history. We are living in the last few hours of the world we thought we knew. The familiar sky above us, the predictable sunrise, the simple idea that we are alone in the universe. All of it could be gone by morning. We stand on the edge of a new reality, a moment so huge it is hard to put into words. This is the night we might not wake up the same. What is happening right now is more important than any headline you will read today. It is more important than politics, more important than sports, more important than the daily news that fills our screens. Yet, for some reason, most of the world is not paying attention. Most people are going about their day, unaware that human history is about to be split into two parts, the time before we knew and the time after. The world feels normal, but it is not, because high above our heads, moving silently through the darkness of space, is an object that is forcing our smartest minds to ask a question they never thought they would ask seriously. Is there someone else out there, and are they knocking on our door? This isn't a movie. This isn't a story from a book. This is real. Scientists around the globe are holding their breath. They are pointing their most powerful tools toward a single spot in the sky, waiting for a sign, waiting for an answer that will change everything. The silence from our official sources is deafening. While a few brave scientists are speaking out, the world's major space agencies seem quiet. Too quiet. It creates a feeling of unease, a feeling that something enormous is being kept just out of view, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. This potential discovery is not just about finding tiny microbes on a distant planet. It is about something far more direct, something that has entered our home, our own solar system. It suggests a form of intelligence that might be billions of years older than we are, an intelligence that might be looking right back at us. Imagine everything you believe about your place in the universe. Now imagine it all being turned upside down in a single night. That is the moment we are facing. This is not a drill. This is a quiet, unfolding event that could become the loudest moment in all of human history. The object at the center of the storm has a name, a simple, technical name that hides its incredible mystery. It is called 3I Atlas. It came from deep space, from a place so far away our minds can barely imagine it. It is a traveler from another star, and it is here, now, in our solar system. For years we have sent our own messages into the void. We have sent probes and radio signals, tiny whispers into the cosmic darkness, hoping someone might hear us. We asked, "Are we alone?" The universe never answered, until perhaps now. But this answer is not a radio signal. It is not a friendly message. It is a physical object, a massive silent thing that is moving with a purpose that we do not understand. And its very existence breaks some of the rules we thought we knew about how the universe works. Scientists are divided. Some are trying desperately to find a natural explanation. They are searching for any reason, any theory, that could explain 3I Atlas as just a strange type of rock or a weird comet. They want it to be something familiar, something safe. But others are looking at the same information and coming to a much more shocking conclusion. They see the object's size, its speed, its impossible path. They see its strange behavior, and they are saying the words that science has long been afraid to say. They are suggesting that 3I Atlas is not natural. They are suggesting it is technology. This is the core of the issue. Is it a rock or is it a machine? The answer to that simple question will determine our future. If it is just a rock, it is a fascinating scientific curiosity, a new puzzle for astronomers to solve. Life will go on as it always has. But if it is technology, then nothing will ever be the same again. It would mean that an alien intelligence, far more advanced than our own, built something and sent it across the huge emptiness between the stars. It would mean that they know how to travel from one solar system to another, and it would mean that one of their creations is currently flying past our planets. We need to understand how big this object is. We will talk more about its size later, but for now, just know this. It is larger than a city. It is a mountain flying through space, a mountain that glows in a way it should not, a mountain that is moving on a path that seems to be deliberately chosen. Think about the implications for a moment. If an alien civilization is capable of building something so large and sending it on such a long journey, what else are they capable of? Their science, their engineering, their understanding of the universe would be so far beyond our own, we would seem like children next to them. This is why the world should be talking about this. Because the presence of 3i Atlas is a quiet emergency. It is a puzzle that demands to be solved, and the answer could arrive at any moment. Tonight. Tomorrow. The data is coming in, the telescopes are watching. The object is currently hidden from our direct view. It is behind the sun. This makes it even more mysterious. It is in the one place where our Earth-based telescopes cannot get a clear look. Is this a coincidence, or is it hiding? Is it using the massive gravity of our sun to make a move, to change its course, away from prying eyes? These are the questions being whispered in the halls of universities and space agencies. These are the conversations happening behind closed doors, because publicly, no one wants to be the first to say the word aliens and be wrong. The career of a scientist can be ruined by making such a bold claim, so they use careful words. They call it an anomalous object. They talk about its peculiar characteristics. They write papers with titles like, "Could this be artificial?" But the meaning is clear. They are taking this possibility very seriously, and we should too. The story of 3i Atlas is a detective story. It is a mystery unfolding in real time, across billions of miles of space. We are the detectives trying to piece together clues from faint points of light and complex calculations, and the main suspect is something that could change our world forever. This object did not just wander into our solar system. Its path seems almost perfect. It is flying on the same flat plane as all of our planets, something that is very unlikely to happen by chance. It is a guest who walked into our house and started moving along the same hallways we do. This precision is one of the biggest red flags. Nature is usually messy. Things from deep space should come in at odd angles, crashing through our solar system from above or below. But 3i Atlas is moving with a strange, almost polite orderliness. It is this orderliness that makes scientists so uncomfortable. It feels unnatural. It feels engineered. And if it is engineered, who are the engineers? Where did they come from? What do they want? These are no longer questions for science fiction. As of tonight, they are practical questions. They are possibly the most important questions humanity has ever faced. We are watching a silent movie play out in the cosmos. We cannot hear it. We can barely see it, but we know it is happening. The main character, 3i Atlas, is currently off stage, hidden behind the glare of our star. But it is about to emerge, and when it does, we might see that its path has changed. If it has changed its path, if it has made a turn that cannot be explained by the pull of the sun's gravity, then the debate is over. A rock cannot steer itself. A comet cannot fire engines. Only a machine can do that. Only something controlled by intelligence can make a deliberate maneuver. That is the moment the world is waiting for. The moment of truth. The moment we look at the new data and see if the object continued on a natural path, or if it made a turn. If it turns, we will have our answer, and humanity will have to face a new reality. The sheer scale of this is hard to grasp. We have lived our entire existence on this tiny blue dot, believing we were the only thinking beings in a vast empty universe. This idea has shaped our religions, our philosophies, our science, and our sense of self. It is the foundation of who we are. To discover that we are not alone and that we are likely not the most advanced life form out there would shatter that foundation. It would force us to rethink everything, our purpose, our future, our place in the cosmic order. This is what is at stake right now. As you go about your evening, remember that humanity is holding its breath. We are a planet on the verge of what could be the greatest discovery in our history. The evidence is mounting, the object is moving, and the moment of revelation is near. The silence you feel is not emptiness, it is the quiet before the storm. The story of 3i Atlas is the story of our time, and it is a story that is reaching its most important chapter. By tomorrow, the world may be a very different place. We are waiting for a single point of light to reappear from behind the sun. When it does, that tiny dot will carry a message. It will tell us if we're still alone, or if we have new neighbours. The night is dark and the universe is quiet. But that quiet may be about to be broken forever. The possibility of alien technology in our solar system is a heavy thought. It's a concept that for so long has been treated as a joke, or as fantasy. But the data about 3I Atlas is not a joke. It is real, and it is puzzling. The scientists looking at this are not crackpots. They are some of the most respected astronomers in the world, and they are worried. They are excited. They are terrified. They are feeling all the things that a person should feel when they are standing at the edge of the biggest discovery imaginable. They understand the weight of this moment. They know what it means if their suspicions are correct. It would mean that everything we have built, our societies, our economies, our beliefs, are all based on the idea that we are the only ones. That framework would crumble. We would have to build a new one based on the new truth. The truth that we are part of a much larger and much older cosmic community. The object 3I Atlas represents a single point, but on that point hangs the entire future of human thought. It is a test. Can we handle the truth? Can we accept a new reality where we are not the center of the universe? This is why this event is so overlooked. It is too big. It is easier for people to focus on smaller, more manageable problems. The idea of an alien artifact in our solar system is so far outside our daily experience that it is hard to even think about. But we must, because ignoring it will not make it go away. The object is still out there. The data is still being collected, and the answer is coming, whether we are ready for it or not. The term for this object, 3I Atlas, is important. The I stands for interstellar. It means between the stars. This is the key. It is not one of our own asteroids. It is not a comet from the edge of our solar system. It is a true outsider, a visitor from another family of planets orbiting another sun. Only 2 other interstellar objects have ever been confirmed before this one. The first was a strange cigar-shaped object named Oumuamua. The second was a more comet-like object named Borisov. But 3I Atlas is different from both of them. It is bigger, its path is stranger, and its features are more mysterious. It is the third visitor, and it may be the one that changes everything, the one that forces us to finally accept that we are not alone. So as we wait through the night, we are not just waiting for a new day, we are waiting for a new age, the age of discovery, the age that begins with a single, undeniable fact. We have been visited. The final confirmation could come from a single image, a set of numbers on a screen, a change in trajectory so small it can only be detected by our most sensitive instruments. But the meaning of that small change would be the biggest news story in the history of the world. So we watch, we wait, and we wonder. Are we about to meet the neighbours? The answer is hiding just behind the sun, and the night is long. We may not wake up the same people we were when we went to sleep. The world is on the brink. But seriously, if this isn't a comet and it's not an asteroid, what exactly is hiding behind our sun right now? The story begins not with a bang, but with a flicker. A tiny, faint point of light on a computer screen in a dark room. This is the moment of discovery. The first time humanity laid eyes on 3I Atlas. It was a discovery of an object from nowhere. On July 1st, 2025, an observatory high in the mountains of Chile was doing what it does every night. It was scanning the sky. This particular system is called ATLAS, which stands for Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. Its main job is to find asteroids that might be on a collision course with Earth. It is our planetary watchdog. The telescopes are robotic. They patrol the darkness, taking pictures of the same patches of sky over and over again. Computers then compare the images, looking for anything that has moved. Usually what they find are known asteroids, familiar space rocks on predictable paths. But on this night, the computers flagged something new, a dot of light that was not there before. This happens all the time. It is usually the first sighting of a new asteroid or a faint comet that has swung into view. The astronomers on duty would have noted it down, given it a temporary name, and moved on. At first, that is exactly what they thought it was. They assumed it was a near-Earth asteroid, one of the thousands of rocks that orbit the Sun in our general neighbourhood. They logged it, calculated a rough path for it, and expected it to behave like any other asteroid. But it did not. Very quickly, things started to seem strange. The first clue was its speed. The object was moving fast, incredibly fast. Faster than anything they would expect for an asteroid in our part of the solar system. Things that belong here are caught in the sun's gravity. They move at a certain speed, like cars on a highway with a set speed limit. This object was breaking the speed limit. It was moving with so much energy that it was clear it was not bound by our sun's gravity. It was not one of our own. It was a traveller just passing through. This was the first major realization. The object was not from here. It came from interstellar space. This is when the object got its official name, 3I Atlas. The 3I was significant. It meant this was only the third interstellar object ever detected by humans. The Atlas part simply came from the name of the telescope system that found it. So, the third interstellar object found by Atlas. The news spread quickly through the astronomy community. Finding an interstellar object is a huge deal. It is a rare chance to study a piece of another solar system up close. Every major telescope in the world that could see it turned to look. They wanted to learn everything they could about this visitor before it disappeared back into the darkness. They measured its brightness to figure out its size. They studied its colour to guess what it was made of. They tracked its movement with extreme precision to map out its path through our solar system, and the more they looked, the stranger it became. Its path was the next big puzzle. When something falls into our solar system from deep space, it should follow a certain kind of path, a curve called a hyperbola. This is just basic physics, the way gravity works. 3I Atlas was following a hyperbolic path, but it was a very strange one. It seemed to be aimed directly at the heart of our solar system, with a precision that was startling. It was not just randomly tumbling through. Its trajectory was clean, direct, and incredibly unusual. It was this trajectory that first made a few scientists quietly wonder if its path was entirely natural. The discovery was a mix of excitement and confusion. On one hand, it was a historic find, a brand new piece of the universe to study. On the other hand, it was not behaving as expected. The object from nowhere was raising more questions than answers. Think of it like finding a strange boat in the middle of the ocean. At first, you might think it's just a normal boat that got lost, but then you notice it has no sails and no engine, yet it is moving faster than any other boat. And it is not being tossed around by the waves, it is moving in a perfectly straight line. You would immediately know that you're looking at something you do not understand. That is the feeling that astronomers had when they looked at 3I Atlas. It was a boat in our cosmic ocean, and it was moving in a way that defied easy explanation. The initial excitement of the discovery quickly turned into a deep and profound mystery. The telescope in Chile that first saw it is designed to protect us. It looks for dangers coming from space. There is a deep irony in the fact that this system, built to find simple threats like asteroids, may have found something far more complex. Something that is not a threat in the physical sense of a collision, but a threat to our understanding of the universe. The first few days of observations were frantic. Astronomers around the world were collaborating, sharing data and running calculations. They had to be sure, was it really interstellar? Or could there be some other explanation for its high speed? After checking and rechecking the numbers, the conclusion was inescapable. There was no other way to explain its velocity. It had to have come from another star. It had been travelling for an unimaginable amount of time, crossing the vast empty gulf between suns. The journey of this object is something we can barely comprehend. The nearest star to our Sun is over 4 light-years away. That means light itself, the fastest thing in the universe, takes 4 years to make the trip. For a physical object, the journey would take tens of thousands, or even millions, of years. 3I Atlas was a relic from an ancient time and a distant place. It was a messenger from a part of the galaxy we will never visit, and it had chosen our solar system to fly through. The importance of this event cannot be overstated. It was like an archaeologist finding a sealed tomb from a lost civilization, only this tomb was still moving. The initial confusion came from its location. When it was first spotted, it was already relatively close to us, inside the orbit of Jupiter. This is why it was mistaken for a near-Earth asteroid. Most comets from deep space are spotted much further out, giving us more time to study them on their way in. But 3I Atlas appeared suddenly, already deep within our territory. This suggested it was either very dark and hard to see, or it had approached from a direction we were not watching closely. Either way, its sudden appearance added to the mystery. It was not just an object from nowhere, it was an object that had sneaked up on us. As more data came in, the picture of 3I Atlas became clearer and also stranger. It was not just its speed and path, its physical properties were also bizarre. It did not look like a typical asteroid, and it certainly did not look like a typical comet. It was in a class of its own, a new type of cosmic object that we had never seen before. The discovery was no longer just about finding a visitor, it was about trying to understand what that visitor was, and the possibilities were starting to get very strange indeed. The astronomers who found it will go down in history. Their robotic telescope, designed for a routine job, had stumbled upon the mystery of a generation. That faint flicker of light on a screen in Chile had become the most important point of light in the sky. It was a classic story of scientific discovery, an unexpected observation that challenges our existing theories. These are the moments that lead to breakthroughs. But this particular breakthrough might be bigger than any before it. It might not just change our theories of astronomy, it might change our theory of life itself. From that first moment of detection, the race was on, a race to understand 3i Atlas before it slipped away again, back into the endless night of interstellar space. The object from nowhere had been found. Now the real work of figuring out what it was had to begin. The initial report was dry and technical, as all scientific announcements are. Discovery of a new high-velocity object. But behind those simple words was a universe of possibility. A universe where we might not be the only ones asking questions. The discovery of 3i Atlas was a quiet moment that has grown louder every day. It started as a puzzle for a few dozen scientists and has become a question for all of humanity. It all began with a single unexpected point of light. A visitor, arriving unannounced from the dark spaces between the stars. The object known as 3i Atlas is not just a point of light. It is a world. Its size is difficult for our minds to truly hold. We are told it is huge, but the word does not do it justice. This object is bigger than Manhattan, faster than logic. To understand its scale, let's start with something we know. The asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs, the one that crashed into the Earth 66 million years ago, was about the size of a mountain. Scientists estimate it was around 6 miles wide. It was an impact that changed the course of life on our planet forever. Now consider 3i Atlas. The early estimates of its size are shocking. It is thought to be at least 12 miles wide. That means it is twice the size of the dinosaur killer. Imagine two of those mountains, side by side, flying through space. It is a truly massive object. If something of this size were to hit the Earth, it would not just be a global catastrophe. It would be an extinction event on a scale we have never seen. It would likely boil the oceans and strip away our atmosphere. It is a planet killer. Fortunately, 3i Atlas is not going to hit us. Its path will take it safely past our world. But its size alone makes it an object of immense interest and concern. Nature does not often create things this large and then send them wandering between star systems. Its size is the first thing that makes it so unusual. The other two interstellar visitors we have seen, Oumuamua and Borisov, were much smaller. Oumuamua was less than a half-mile long. Borisov was also relatively small. 3i Atlas is a giant in comparison. It is in a completely different league. This size raises questions. How could an object so large be ejected from its home solar system? It would take an incredible amount of force, something like a star exploding, to throw a 12-mile wide rock into deep space. While possible, it is not a common event, but its size is only the beginning of the mystery. The real puzzle is what it is not doing. When a large object like this gets close to our Sun, it should behave in a predictable way. The Sun's heat should warm its surface, causing ice and gas to turn into vapor and stream away. This creates a beautiful glowing tail. This is what we call a comet, a big dirty snowball that leaves a trail of gas and dust behind it as it flies through space. Given its size and its journey from the cold of deep space, 3i Atlas should have a spectacular tail. It should be one of the brightest comets ever seen, but it has no tail. This is a critical point. There is no messy cloud of dust and gas trailing behind it. Our most powerful telescopes have looked for this tail, and they have found nothing. It is a clean object. This is extremely unusual. It suggests that the object is not made of ice and dust like a comet. So if it's not a comet, what is it? Perhaps it's just a rock, an asteroid. But that also presents problems. Interstellar asteroids of this size are thought to be incredibly rare. Our models of how solar systems are formed suggest that it is much easier to kick out small comets than it is to eject a massive solid rock. So it is not behaving like a comet, and it is unlikely to be an asteroid. It is something else. This is where the scientific mystery deepens. The object breaks our neat categories. It does not fit into the boxes we've created. Think about it. We have a city-sized object, twice as big as the rock that killed the dinosaurs, flying through our solar system at incredible speed. It came from another star, and it has no tail, when all of our science says it should. This lack of a tail is a huge clue. It tells us that the surface of 3i Atlas is not what we expect. It is not shedding material. It is solid, stable. It is holding itself together despite the intense radiation from our Sun and the stresses of its high-speed journey. This is a feature that some scientists have pointed to as evidence of its artificial nature. A natural object would be expected to show some signs of wear and tear. It should be a messy, crumbling thing. But 3i Atlas appears to be clean and coherent. Then there is the other observation, the one that is even harder to explain. Some astronomers, including a very well-known professor from Harvard named Loeb, have pointed out a strange glow. But this glow is not where it should be. It's not a tail streaming behind the object. Instead, observers have noted a faint luminosity, a soft light, on the front of the object. It is on the leading edge, the part of the object that is facing the direction it is travelling. This is completely backward from how a comet works. A comet's tail always points away from the Sun, pushed by the solar wind. This forward glow has no easy natural explanation. It is as if the object has a headlight. What could cause such a thing? Is it just sunlight reflecting off a strange metallic surface in a weird way? This is one of the more conservative theories. It suggests the object is made of a highly reflective material we have not seen before. But other, more daring theories have been proposed. Could this glow be a form of energy? Could it be heat from some kind of engine? Could it be a sign of technology at work? These are the questions that are being debated right now. The combination of these features is what makes 3i Atlas so compelling. It's not just one strange thing. It is a whole list of strange things. A huge size, bigger than the dinosaur killer. An incredible speed, showing it came from another star. A complete lack of a tail which goes against our understanding of comets. And a mysterious glow on its front where no glow should be. Each of these things on its own would be a fascinating puzzle. All of them together in one object is almost unheard of. It forces us to consider explanations that are outside of our normal scientific toolkit. It is moving faster than logic would suggest is common. Its appearance is cleaner than our theories would predict. The object is a collection of impossibilities. It is a contradiction flying through our sky. When you look at a normal comet, you see the beautiful, messy work of nature. You see gravity and heat and ice all interacting in a chaotic, wonderful dance. When you look at 3i Atlas, you see something different. You see precision. You see cleanliness. You see something that feels less like chaos and more like design. This is, of course, a huge leap to make. To suggest something is designed means you are suggesting there was a designer, and that is the very question we are trying to answer. But the evidence is pushing us in that direction. The object is not cooperating with our natural explanations, so we are left with a giant, fast, clean, and strangely glowing mystery. An object bigger than Manhattan, moving with a purpose we cannot comprehend. It is challenging everything we thought we knew about visitors from deep space. And it is forcing us to confront a possibility that is both terrifying and wonderful. The possibility that we are looking at a piece of alien engineering. The path of 3i Atlas is not just a line through space. It is a statement. It is a clue so large and so obvious that it feels like a deliberate message. Its movement through our solar system is so strange, so unlikely, that it has become one of the biggest pieces of evidence for those who suspect it is not a natural object. This is the story of the impossible trajectory. To understand why its path is so strange, we need to picture our solar system. Imagine a giant flat dinner plate. In the center of the plate is the Sun. All the planets, Earth included, orbit the Sun on this flat plate. They go around and around in roughly the same flat plane. This is called the solar plane, or the ecliptic plane. Now think about things that come from outside our solar system. They should not care about our dinner plate. They should come in from all sorts of random angles. Imagine dropping a handful of marbles from high above the plate. They would hit the plate from above, from below, and at all different angles. They would not magically start rolling neatly on the flat surface. The odds of an object from deep space just happening to enter our solar system and fly perfectly along that same flat plane as all our planets are very, very low. One famous astrophysicist, Loeb, calculated the odds. He found that the chance of this happening by accident is about 1 in 500. That might not sound impossible, but in science, when something is that unlikely, you have to wonder if it's really an accident at all. And 3i Atlas is doing just that. It is flying perfectly flat with the solar plane. It entered our solar system and immediately got in line with all the other planets. It is behaving like it belongs here, even though we know it does not. This is the first part of the impossible trajectory, the perfect alignment. It is either a staggering coincidence, or it is a sign of deliberate navigation. It is like a traveller from another country arriving in a new city and immediately knowing the exact route of the local subway system. It is suspicious, but it gets even stranger. The path of 3i Atlas takes it on a grand tour of our solar system. It is making a series of incredibly close passes to several planets. It flies by Mars, it swings near Venus, it gets a gravitational nudge from the giant planet Jupiter, but it never hits any of them. Its path is a perfect thread, woven through the needle eyes of planetary orbits. It misses everything. The timing of its journey seems flawless. It arrives at each point in its path at just the right moment to avoid a collision, and in some cases, to even use a planet's gravity to adjust its speed and direction. This level of precision is mind-boggling for a natural object. A simple rock tumbling through space is at the mercy of gravity. It gets pulled and pushed, and its path can be chaotic. But the path of 3i Atlas is clean and predictable, almost like it was calculated. This brings us to the biggest question about its trajectory. Is this perfect timing, or is it perfect planning? Is this object just the luckiest rock in the universe, winning a cosmic lottery with odds of 500 to 1, and then continuing to win every single roll of the dice as it passes our planets? Or is something else going on? The most stunning part of its path, however, is what is happening right now. The object's trajectory is taking it very close to the Sun. This is called its perihelion, the point where it is nearest to our star, and the timing of this event is what has made so many people suspicious. 3i Atlas reaches its closest point to the Sun at the exact time when the Earth is on the complete opposite side of the Sun. This means that during its most important and most active moment, we cannot see it from Earth. The Sun is in the way. It is a perfect cosmic blind spot. Think about that. The one moment we would want to watch it most closely, the moment when the Sun's heat and gravity are affecting it the most, is the one moment it is completely hidden from us. What are the chances of that happening? It is this specific part of the trajectory that has fueled theories of a deliberate maneuver. If you were piloting a craft through an unknown solar system, and you wanted to make a course, correction without being seen, this is exactly what you would do. You would use the star as a shield, hiding your actions behind its brilliant light. You would use the star's immense gravity to help you turn. A gravity assist is a common technique that our own space probes use. We fly them close to a planet like Jupiter to steal a little bit of its orbital energy and fling our probe faster and in a new direction. If 3i Atlas is a piece of technology, this close pass to the Sun is the perfect opportunity for it to do the same thing. It could use the Sun's gravity to change its path, perhaps to slow down and enter a stable orbit in our solar system, or to aim itself toward a new destination. A natural object would just be whipped around the Sun and flung back out into deep space. Its path would be predictable. We could calculate its exit trajectory to a very high degree of accuracy. But if it is a machine, it could fire thrusters or use other technologies to change that path in a way that gravity alone cannot explain. This is what scientists are waiting to see. When 3i Atlas comes out from behind the Sun, will it be on the same path we predicted? Or will it have changed course? If it has changed course in any non-gravitational way, it is the smoking gun. It would be nearly undeniable proof of intelligent control. The impossible trajectory is a collection of strange coincidences that, when added together, paint a very suspicious picture. First, the 1 in 500 chance of entering on the same plane as our planets. Second, the grand tour of the planets, missing each one perfectly. Third, the perfect timing of its closest approach to the Sun, hiding it from our view at the most critical moment. Is it all just one big, amazing coincidence? It is possible. The universe is a big place, and rare things happen all the time. But how many rare things have to happen at once before you start to question if they are really just coincidences? This is the dilemma facing astronomers. They are trained to look for natural explanations, but the path of 3i Atlas is pushing the limits of what can be explained by nature alone. It feels too neat, too perfect, too intelligent. The path is a riddle, written across the solar system, and the answer to that riddle is about to be revealed. When the object emerges from behind the sun, its new position will tell us the end of the story. Will it confirm that it was just a lucky rock? Or will it confirm our deepest hopes and fears, that humanity is no longer alone? The impossible trajectory has brought this object to its moment of truth, and our moment of truth along with it. The mystery of 3i Atlas is defined by light. Not just the light it reflects, but the light it seems to create. This is the puzzle of the glow that shouldn't exist. As we have discussed, a comet has a tail. 2 tails in fact. One is made of dust and one is made of gas. Both of these tails are created by the sun. The sun's heat turns the ice on a comet into gas, and the solar wind, a stream of particles from the sun, pushes that gas and dust away. This is why a comet's tail always points away from the sun. It is a cosmic windsock. 3i Atlas has no fiery tail. There is no cloud of debris streaming behind it. This tells us it is not a normal comet, but that does not mean it is completely dark. Observers have detected a faint light coming from the object, a mysterious glow, but this glow is in the wrong place. It is on the front of the object, the side that faces forward in the direction it is travelling. This is the exact opposite of a comet's tail. It is a feature that has baffled scientists because there is no easy way to explain it with our current understanding of physics. Imagine a speedboat moving across a lake. It leaves a wake behind it, a trail of disturbed water. That is like a comet's tail. Now imagine if the speedboat had no wake behind it, but instead there was a strange glow in the water just in front of its bow. You would know you were seeing something very strange. That is what we are seeing with 3i Atlas. What could cause this glow? Scientists are scrambling to come up with natural explanations. One of the main theories is that it is something called reflected radiation. The idea is that the object is being hit by particles from the sun, the solar wind. These particles could be interacting with the material on the object's surface in a way that causes it to glow, like a fluorescent light bulb. This is possible, but it has problems. The glow seems to be too bright and too focused to be explained by this alone. The solar wind is not that powerful. It should create a very faint, diffuse light, not the more localized glow that has been reported. Another idea is that the object is breaking apart in a very strange way. Perhaps tiny, microscopic pieces of dust are flaking off the front of it and are catching the sunlight. This might create the appearance of a forward glow. But this theory also struggles to explain why we do not see a larger trail of this dust behind the object. If it is losing material from the front, that material should still be left behind in its wake. So the natural explanations are not very convincing. They leave many questions unanswered. This has opened the door to more speculative, more exciting, and more frightening theories. What if the glow is not a natural event? What if it is a sign of technology? This is the whisper that is growing louder in the scientific community. The idea is that the glow is not something happening to the object, but something the object is doing. Could it be some form of engine light? Many science fiction stories have ships with glowing engines. While this might sound like fantasy, any advanced form of propulsion would likely release energy, and that energy could be visible as light. An engine that works by pushing against the fabric of space itself, or by using exotic fuels, might create a glow in front of the craft. Another theory is that the glow is part of a shield. Travelling through interstellar space at high speed is dangerous. Even tiny grains of dust can hit with the force of a bomb. An advanced spacecraft would likely need some kind of energy shield to protect it. This shield, a bubble of energy around the front of the object, would glow as it deflected particles. It would look like a headlight pushing through the darkness. These are, of course, just ideas. There is no direct evidence for an engine or a shield. But these technological explanations have one big advantage over the natural ones. They fit the observations. An engine or a shield would create a glow on the front of the object exactly where we are seeing it. A natural process would not. The visual data we have is limited. It is like looking at a single pixel on a computer screen and trying to guess what the whole picture is. But sometimes, even a single pixel can tell you a lot. The colour of this glow, its intensity, and its shape are all being studied with incredible care. Every piece of information is a clue. Some reports have mentioned that the glow seems to flicker or pulse. This is another detail that is hard to explain with natural causes. Reflected sunlight should be constant. A flickering light suggests a power source that is turning on and off, or a process that is not stable. This is another hint that we might be looking at something mechanical. The glow is a key part of the mystery of 3i Atlas. It is an anomaly, a piece of the puzzle that does not fit. It is the smoke that might lead us to the fire. It is one of the main reasons why so many serious scientists are willing to consider the extraordinary possibility that this object is artificial. When you see a light in the sky at night, you can usually identify it. A star twinkles. A planet shines with a steady light. An airplane blinks. A meteor streaks across the sky and is gone. We have categories for these things. The glow of 3i Atlas does not fit into any of our categories. It is a new kind of light in the sky. This unusual glow makes the object even more of a mystery. It is unlike anything we have ever seen before. It is a signature, a calling card. But what is it trying to tell us? Is it an accidental byproduct of some alien technology we do not understand? Or is it a deliberate signal? A light left on to say, "We are here"? We do not know. But the fact that we are even asking these questions shows how significant this discovery is. We have moved from a simple astronomical observation to a profound philosophical question. The glow is a quiet beacon in the dark. It challenges our assumptions. It forces us to think outside the box. It is a light that could illuminate a new future for humanity. A future where we look up at the sky and see not just the cold, natural light of stars, but also the warm, artificial light of another intelligence. The glow that shouldn't exist might be the very thing that proves we are not alone. The most shocking theory about 3i Atlas is also the most compelling. It is an idea so grand, so far-reaching, that it sounds like it was pulled directly from a science fiction epic. This is the Mothership theory. The theory suggests that 3i Atlas is not just one object. It is not a single rock, or even a single spaceship. Instead, it might be a carrier, a mothership, designed to transport smaller objects across the vast distances between stars, and once it arrives in a new solar system it could release these smaller objects, like a dandelion releasing its seeds into the wind. These smaller objects would be probes, small robotic explorers designed to spread out and study the new system in detail. They could visit planets, analyze atmospheres, and search for signs of life. The mothership would act as a base, a command center, and a communication relay, sending information back to its home world. This idea might seem fantastic, but it is actually a very logical way to explore the galaxy. Sending one giant ship is much more efficient than sending thousands of tiny ships on their own interstellar journeys. The mothership can protect the probes during the long, dangerous trip. It can provide power and repair capabilities. It is a cosmic ark for a fleet of robotic explorers. Where did this theory come from? It's not just a random guess. It is based on the work of serious scientists, most notably Dr. Avi Loeb, the Harvard professor we mentioned earlier. He and his colleagues have written scientific papers exploring this very possibility. They are not just asking if 3i Atlas is alien technology. They are asking a much more specific question. Is it an alien mothership? The paper he co-authored was titled, "Is 3i Atlas Alien Technology?" In it, he laid out the scientific case for this idea. He talked about the object's strange path, its size, its lack of a tail, and its mysterious glow. He argued that all of these strange features could be explained if we assume the object is an artificial mothership. The theory gained even more ground when scientists looked at where 3i Atlas came from. When they traced its path backward, out of our solar system and into deep space, they found that it seemed to originate from the direction of the galactic center, the very heart of our Milky Way galaxy. This is a significant detail. The center of the galaxy is the oldest and most crowded part. The stars there are billions of years older than our Sun. If an intelligent civilization were to arise in our galaxy, it is statistically more likely to have arisen there, long before we did. It is a place where life would have had a huge head start. So the object is coming from the most likely place in the galaxy to find an ancient advanced civilization. This adds another layer of suspicion to the story. It is not just some random object from a nearby star. It seems to be coming from the galactic downtown. Its perfect alignment with our solar system's plane also supports the mothership theory. If you were sending a fleet of probes to explore a new system, you would want to release them on the same flat plane as the planets. This would make it much easier for them to travel from one planet to another. You would not want to release them at a high angle, forcing them to fight against the system's gravity to get down to where the planets are. So the object's trajectory is not just unlikely, it is an ideal trajectory for a mothership arriving to deploy probes. It is exactly the path you would choose if you were planning an exploration mission. If this theory is true, it means that 3i Atlas might not be alone. It might have already released its probes. There could be dozens or even hundreds of small, hard-to-detect alien probes flying around our solar system right now. They could be in orbit around Earth, or Mars, or hiding in the asteroid belt. This idea creates a sense of cosmic paranoia. Are we being watched? Have we been studied for years without even knowing it? This is a concept that has been explored in fiction many times, but now it is being discussed in serious scientific papers. There is a group of scientists dedicated to searching for evidence of this. It is called the Galileo Project, led by Dr. Avi Loeb. Its mission is to search for and investigate any signs of extraterrestrial technology. They are not just waiting for aliens to contact us, they are actively looking for their artifacts, and 3i Atlas is their prime suspect. The Galileo Project is reportedly tracking the object with every instrument at its disposal. They are looking for any sign of probes being released. A flash of light, a burst of radio waves, any small object moving away from the main body of 3i Atlas. So far, nothing has been officially announced, but the search is ongoing. The mothership theory is so compelling because it explains all the weirdness of 3i Atlas in one neat package. Why is it so big? Because it needs to be, to carry probes. Why is its path so perfect? Because it was navigated that way for an ideal deployment. Why does it have a strange glow? It could be the energy source for the ship and its probes. Why no comet tail? Because it's a machine, not a dirty snowball. The theory answers all the questions. The only problem is that the answer it gives is world-changing. It means that not only are we not alone, but an alien civilization has sent a sophisticated piece of technology to our doorstep. This is the most wild theory, but it is also the one that seems to fit the facts the best. It transforms 3i Atlas from a passive, dead rock into an active, intelligent, and potentially threatening object. We are no longer just observing a curiosity. We may be observing an active alien mission. The low radar beeps and the hum of cosmic static in the background of our thoughts grow louder. The idea of a mothership is no longer just a fun thought experiment. It is a serious scientific hypothesis. A hypothesis that could be proven true at any moment. If 3i Atlas is a mothership, then the story is not about an object, it is about an arrival. The beginning of a new chapter in human history. A chapter where we must confront the reality that someone else is out there, and they are far more advanced than we are. The mothership theory is the ultimate explanation, and the most terrifying one. As the mystery of 3i Atlas deepened, another strange event occurred. It was an event that had nothing to do with space, and everything to do with politics here on Earth. But its timing was so perfect, so incredibly convenient, that it raised a whole new set of questions. This is the story of the NASA silence and the perfect shutdown. Just as 3i Atlas was approaching its closest point to the Sun, the moment it would be hidden from our view, something happened in the United States government. The government shut down. This happens from time to time when politicians cannot agree on a budget. Federal agencies are forced to close their doors and send their workers home until the situation is resolved. One of the agencies affected by this shutdown was NASA, our window to the universe. Suddenly, NASA's public data feeds went dark. The official reason given was a lapse in federal government funding. Because of the shutdown, NASA announced it would stop all non-essential activities. This included updating its public websites. The constant stream of new images from space, the data from its probes and telescopes, the information that both professional and amateur astronomers rely on, suddenly stopped. The flow of information was cut off. Now, a government shutdown is a normal, if frustrating, part of political life. On its own, it would not be suspicious. But the timing of this particular shutdown was unbelievable. Think about the situation. A mysterious object, possibly the most important discovery in human history, is entering the most critical phase of its journey. It is about to pass behind the Sun, where it might make a maneuver that would prove it is intelligently controlled. This is the one moment that every scientist in the world wants to watch with every tool they have, and at that exact moment, the world's largest and most powerful space agency goes silent. The public data feeds are turned off, No new images, no new information, nothing. To many people, this felt like more than just a coincidence. It seemed far too convenient. The biggest scientific discovery in history might be happening, and suddenly the main source of public information is gone. This has led to widespread theories of a cover-up. The idea is that the government, or some hidden part of it, knew what was coming. They knew that 3i Atlas was about to do something extraordinary, and they did not want the public to see it. So according to this theory, the shutdown was an excuse. A perfect way to stop the flow of information without causing a panic. If NASA had just announced, "We are stopping all data feeds about 3i Atlas," people would have been outraged. It would have been an admission that something important was happening. But by blaming it on a government shutdown, they could achieve the same result without raising as much suspicion. It was a bureaucratic excuse. "Sorry, we can't show you the alien spaceship right now. We don't have the funding." It sounds absurd, but to many it made a strange kind of sense. Why would they want to hide this information? The reasons are complex. A government's first job is to maintain order. The confirmation of alien technology in our solar system would be the most disruptive event in human history. Stock markets would crash. Religions would be thrown into crisis. There could be mass panic, riots, and social breakdown. No government would want to deal with that. It might be seen as their duty to control the information, to release it slowly, or perhaps not at all. They might want time to study the object themselves, to understand its capabilities and its intentions before telling the world. It is a classic case of the public can't handle the truth. This theory is, of course, impossible to prove. There is no leaked memo, no whistleblower who has come forward. It is just a deep suspicion based on the incredible timing of the events. But the suspicion is powerful. The world of amateur astronomy and UFO research is buzzing with this idea. They see the NASA shutdown not as a political failure, but as a deliberate act of information control. The silence from NASA is deafening. In the past, for other major astronomical events, NASA has been the leader. They have provided live coverage, expert commentary, and a constant flow of data. For the arrival of 3i Atlas, there has been a strange and unsettling quiet. Even if the shutdown is a complete coincidence, its effect is the same. It has created an information vacuum, and in that vacuum, fear and speculation have grown. We are left to wonder what is really happening behind the closed doors of our space agencies. Are they seeing something we are not? Have their deep space probes or their solar observatories captured images of 3i Atlas making its move behind the sun? Are they sitting on data that would change the world, waiting for the right moment to release it? The perfect shutdown has turned a scientific mystery into a political thriller. It has added a layer of human intrigue to a cosmic story. We are not just looking for aliens in space anymore. We are also looking for the truth from our own leaders. The timing is the key. If the shutdown had happened a month earlier, or a month later, no one would have connected the two events. But it happened in the exact week that 3i Atlas disappeared behind the sun. The odds of that timing being random are, for many people, just too low to be believed. So as we wait for the object to reappear, we are also waiting for our own governments to start talking again. We are waiting for the flow of information to resume. But will we be able to trust what they tell us? If they were willing to hide the truth once, would they be willing to alter it or lie about it later? The shutdown has broken a bond of trust. It has made a skeptical public even more suspicious. The silence is not empty. It is filled with our own questions and fears. The perfect shutdown may have been a political accident, or it may have been the most successful cover-up in human history. We may never know for sure. But the suspicion will linger long after the data feeds are turned back on. The next few days are the most important. The fate of our understanding of the universe hangs in a delicate balance, hidden behind the blinding light of our own star. This is the moment we have been building towards. This is the hidden moment, behind the sun. Right now, as you're hearing these words, 3i Atlas is invisible to us. It is on the far side of the sun. From our perspective on Earth, the sun is directly in the way. Our telescopes, no matter how powerful, cannot see through a star. The object is in a temporary cone of silence and darkness. This period of invisibility is not long, but it is critically important. The key dates are October 29th and October 30th. This is the time when 3i Atlas makes its closest approach to the sun. It is the moment of maximum stress, maximum heat, and maximum gravitational pull. Experts believe that if the object is going to do anything, it will do it now. This is the perfect time for it to make a maneuver. Why? Because it can use the sun's immense gravity to its advantage. Think of the sun as a giant cosmic slingshot. A natural object like a rock or a comet will be grabbed by the slingshot's band, whipped around the star, and then thrown back out into space on a predictable path. The path it takes is determined only by its speed, its angle of approach, and the force of the sun's gravity. But an intelligent object, a craft, could do something more. As it is being pulled around by the slingshot, it could fire its own engines. It could give itself a little push at just the right moment. That small push, when combined with the huge force of the sun's gravity, could result in a massive change to its path. It is the most efficient way to make a big turn. It takes a huge amount of energy to change course in space. By using the sun's gravity, a craft could make that change with a much smaller amount of fuel. It is smart engineering. It is exactly what we do with our own probes. This is what scientists are waiting to see. A natural rock or comet would not be able to do this. It has no engines. It has no way to give itself that extra push. It is a slave to gravity. Only something intelligent, something under its own power, could make such a move. The big question is, why would it want to change its path? If it is just a visitor passing through, it would have no reason to. It would simply continue on its journey back into deep space. But if its purpose was to visit our solar system, to study it, or perhaps even to stay here, then it would need to slow down. Its interstellar speed is too high for it to get captured by our sun's gravity. It is moving too fast to stay. To slow down enough to enter a stable orbit, it would have to perform a major braking maneuver, and the most efficient place to do that is right at its closest approach to the sun. It could fire a powerful engine, pushing against its direction of travel to shed some of its incredible speed. If it does this, it would be a clear and unmistakable sign of its artificial nature. It would be a deliberate act of entering our solar system. It would no longer be a visitor. It would be a new resident. So this hidden moment is a moment of decision for the object. Is it staying, or is it going? The fact that this is all happening while the object is hidden from us is deeply frustrating. It is like the final play of a championship game is happening behind a closed curtain. We know the game is being decided, but we cannot see it. This has led to the big question. Is it hiding there on purpose? Is it making a move we are not meant to see? The timing seems too perfect for it to be a coincidence. It is using the sun not just as a gravitational tool, but as a shield. Imagine you're in a room with a single bright light bulb in the center. If you want to move from one side of the room to the other without being seen by someone on the opposite side, you would walk behind the light bulb. Its glare would hide you. This is what 3i Atlas is doing on a cosmic scale. So while we are blind, the object is active. The silence is not peaceful. It is filled with tension. Every scientist on Earth is waiting for the object to re-emerge from the sun's glare. When it does, the first thing they will do is measure its position. They will compare its new location to the location it was predicted to be in. If the two positions match, it means the object followed a natural path. It means it is likely just a strange rock, and the great mystery will end with a sigh of relief from some and disappointment from others. But if the positions do not match, if the object is in a place where gravity alone could not have put it, then the world will change. It will be the single greatest piece of evidence for alien intelligence ever discovered. It would be a signal, a deliberate act, a statement that says, we are here and we are in control of our own destiny. This is the drama that is unfolding in the darkness behind the sun. The hidden moment is the climax of the story. The object is alone with the star, in a silent dance that will determine the future. We are like children with our ears pressed to a door, trying to hear what the adults are talking about inside. We can only catch faint whispers and imagine what is being said. Our probes that are closer to the sun, like the Parker Solar Probe, might be able to get a better look, but that data is not always available in real time. We are left to wait. We are waiting for the curtain to rise again. We are waiting for 3i Atlas to step back into the light. When it does, it will no longer be just a mystery. It will be an answer to the oldest question we have ever asked. The tension of these few days is immense. The fate of our worldview is being decided in a place we cannot see. The hidden moment is almost over. Soon we will have the data. Soon we will know. Is it a rock or is it a pilot? making the most important turn in human history. In the face of a mystery this large, we look to our experts for answers. We turn to the familiar faces and trusted voices of science to help us make sense of the unknown. But when it comes to 3i Atlas, even the experts are divided. This is a look at what the scientists are saying. Is it denial, or is it damage control? Even the most famous scientists in the world are talking about 3i Atlas. People like Neil deGrasse Tyson, a man known for his ability to explain the cosmos to the public, have been forced to comment on this strange object. His approach has been one of extreme caution. While Tyson does not immediately jump to the conclusion of aliens, he admits that it is on the list of possibilities. In a recent interview, he said it is one of his considerations. But he quickly followed that up with a very important scientific principle. He says that it is easier and more likely that we have just discovered a new unknown type of natural object than it is to say that aliens did it. In science, you must rule out all the natural explanations before you can even begin to consider an artificial one. This is the heart of the scientific method. So, according to Tyson, we might be looking at a new class of comet, one made of solid hydrogen, for example, or perhaps a new type of asteroid with a very unusual composition that makes it look strange. He believes we need to study it more to gather more data before we make the incredible leap to alien technology. His position is one of scientific skepticism. It is a safe, responsible, and logical stance to take. He is trying to calm the public excitement and remind everyone that science is a slow, careful process. He's acting as a voice of reason, a brake on the runaway train of speculation. This approach is in sharp contrast to that of Dr. Avi Loeb at Harvard. Dr. Loeb is much more open and even enthusiastic about the idea of alien technology. He is the one pushing the boundaries, asking the uncomfortable questions and publishing papers on the Mothership theory. Dr. Loeb argues that while we should be skeptical, we should not let our skepticism blind us to the evidence. He points to the long list of strange features of 3i Atlas and says that at some point, trying to find a natural explanation becomes more complicated than just accepting the artificial one. He has famously said that if you are walking on the beach and you find a seashell, you assume it is natural. But if you find a cell phone, you do not. You know it is artificial because it is far more complex than its surroundings. He argues that 3i Atlas looks more like a cell phone than a seashell. This creates a fascinating debate at the highest levels of science. On one side, you have the cautious skeptics like Tyson, who represent the traditional conservative approach of science. They are the defenders of the status quo, demanding extraordinary evidence for an extraordinary claim. On the other side, you have the bold thinkers like Loeb, who argue that the evidence is already extraordinary, and that we must be open to new possibilities. They believe that sticking to old ideas in the face of new, strange data is not good science. It is a failure of imagination. So who is right? The truth is, we do not know yet. Both sides are making valid points. It is a perfect example of how science works. It is a debate, a back and forth of ideas and evidence that slowly moves us closer to the truth. But the debate itself tells us something very important. The very fact that this conversation is happening, that famous scientists are publicly discussing the possibility of alien technology, shows how seriously this is being taken. This is not a fringe idea anymore. It is a mainstream scientific debate. No one is completely ruling out alien intelligence. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson, in his most cautious moments, leaves the door open a tiny crack. He says it is a possibility, even if it is a remote one. This is a huge shift from just a few years ago, when any scientist who talked about aliens would have been laughed out of the room. This tells us that the evidence for 3i Atlas's strangeness is undeniable. The object is so weird that even the most skeptical minds are struggling to explain it. They are forced to consider all options, including the one that changes the world. This split between the scientists could be seen in two ways. It could be a genuine, healthy scientific debate. Or, as some more cynical observers have suggested, it could be a form of damage control. The theory is that the world's scientific leadership knows that 3i Atlas is artificial. They know the truth is about to come out, so they are preparing the public for it. They are slowly introducing the idea into the mainstream conversation. By having people like Tyson express cautious skepticism, they manage expectations and prevent panic. By having people like Loeb express bold excitement, they get the public used to the idea, making the final revelation less of a shock. It is a way of gently guiding humanity towards a new reality. This is, of course, a conspiracy theory. but it highlights the strange position these scientists are in. They are at the forefront of a potential discovery that is so big, it has social and political implications far beyond the world of science. They have to be not just scientists, but also careful communicators. What is clear is that no one has a good answer. The most respected scientific minds on the planet are looking at the same data, and they are coming to different conclusions. This shows how truly unprecedented this object is. It has broken our models, it has defied our expectations, so we are left to listen to the debate and wonder. Are we hearing the careful process of science at work, or are we hearing the carefully managed release of the biggest secret in human history? The deep ambient hum of the universe seems to be getting louder. The silence is being filled with the voices of our greatest thinkers, arguing about our place in the cosmos, and the fact that they are arguing at all is perhaps the most telling sign. They do not have an answer. The object in our sky is a mystery even to them. The experts are just as lost as the rest of us, and that is a truly unsettling thought. The moment is upon us. The waiting is almost over. The tension that has been building is about to reach its peak. The entire mystery of 3i Atlas comes down to the next 24 to 48 hours. This is the moment of truth. October 29th. As 3i Atlas begins to emerge from behind the sun, our eyes in the sky are turning to watch. We may not be able to see it from Earth just yet, but we have robotic explorers scattered throughout the solar system, and one of them is in a perfect position to get our first good look. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, a sophisticated spacecraft that has been circling the red planet for years, is expected to capture new, highly detailed images of 3i Atlas very soon. This orbiter has a powerful camera, called HiRISE, which can see things with incredible clarity. We are talking about a resolution of about 30 kilometers per pixel. This means we will get our best view yet of the object's shape, size, and any features on its surface. These new images will be the first pieces of data we get after the object's close pass to the Sun. They will be scrutinized with an intensity that is hard to imagine. Every pixel will be analyzed, looking for any changes, any signs of the object's encounter with our star. But the most crucial data will not be from a picture, it will be from tracking its position. The crucial dates are tonight, October 29th, and tomorrow morning, October 30th. This is the window of time when the object is at its closest to the Sun. As we have discussed, this is the ideal time for it to make a maneuver if it is an intelligent craft. This is the moment it would choose. If its goal is to change its path, to slow down, or to aim for a new target within our solar system, now is the time to do it. It can use the Sun's gravity like a cosmic springboard to propel itself in a new direction. So what are scientists looking for? Exactly. They are looking for any change in its direction or path that cannot be explained by natural forces. They have very precise models of how the Sun's gravity should affect the object. They have calculated the exact trajectory it should follow if it is just a dead piece of rock. When they get the new position data from the Mars orbiter and other telescopes, they will compare it to that prediction. If the object is exactly where it is supposed to be, then the natural explanation wins. The mystery will likely be solved, and 3i Atlas will be remembered as a very strange but ultimately natural comet or asteroid. But if it is not where it is supposed to be, if it has deviated from its predicted path, even by a small amount, that is when everything changes. Any deviation that cannot be explained by gravity would be a bombshell. It would strongly suggest that some other force was at work, a force that can only come from the object itself, the force of an engine, the force of intelligent control. This is the core of the entire event. It all comes down to a simple measurement. Where is it versus where should it be? The answer to that question is the answer to the question of whether we are alone. There is a cinematic power to this moment. All of human history, all of our science, all of our dreams of the stars have led to this point. We are waiting for a single data point that could confirm our place in the universe has been misunderstood since the beginning of time. There is a simple, powerful line that sums up the importance of this moment. If it turns, humanity changes forever. A turn would be an unambiguous signal. It would be an act, a decision made by an intelligence other than our own. It would be the first confirmed action of an alien entity in our solar system. The implications are almost too vast to consider. Every government, every military, every scientist, and every person on Earth would have to react to that news. It would be the start of a new era. An era of contact. An era of unknown possibilities and unknown dangers. So as we move through these critical hours, know that the most important observation in history might be taking place. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is our scout, our forward observer, peering into the darkness to see what has happened behind the Sun. The data from that orbiter will have to travel millions of miles through space to reach us. It will be received by the giant radio dishes of the Deep Space Network. It will be processed, and then it will be analysed, and in that analysis our future will be revealed. This is not a future event. This is happening now, tonight, tomorrow morning. We are living through the moment of truth. The world is quiet, but in the silent control rooms of our space agencies, the tension is unbearable. They are waiting for the numbers that will tell them if our little, lonely planet is about to get a new neighbour. The fate of our world hangs on the trajectory of another. If it flies straight, life goes on. If it turns, nothing will ever be the same. October 29th, the day we might get an answer. Let us stop for a moment and consider the consequences. What if it turns? What if the data comes back and it is undeniable? 3i. Atlas has changed course. It is under intelligent control. What happens next? This is a journey into money, meaning, and the end of normal. There is a quote from a filmmaker and commentator named Andy Signor that went viral recently. It perfectly captures the profound shift that would occur. He said, "I don't know if there will be meaning to money if this object turns out to be technological." Think about that statement. It is simple, but it is incredibly deep. Money is the foundation of our modern world. It is what we work for. It is what our entire global society is built upon. The stock markets, our jobs, our mortgages, our plans for the future. All of it is tied to the concept of money. But money only has value because we all agree that it does. It is a shared story we tell ourselves. A story about value and work and resources. The confirmation of a vastly superior alien intelligence would be a new story. A story so big, it would make our story about money seem trivial. Imagine waking up to the news that a city-sized alien craft is now in orbit around our sun. Would you still go to your 9-to-5 job? Would you worry about the stock market? Would the price of gas or the rate of inflation still seem like the most important problems in the world? Suddenly, our human concerns would seem very small. The dramas of our daily lives, the things we worry about and strive for, would be put into a new cosmic perspective. The pursuit of wealth might seem absurd in the face of a civilization that has conquered interstellar travel. What use is a stock portfolio when you are facing the biggest existential question in history? The global economy could collapse, not because of a war or a disease, but because of a loss of meaning. People might simply stop participating in the system. The shared story that holds it all together would be broken. And it would not just be money. Our entire power structure would be challenged. Governments derive their power from the idea that they are the highest authority. But how can a government claim to be in charge when there is a technological power in our solar system that is thousands or millions of years ahead of us? International relations would be completely redefined. The conflicts between nations, the arguments over borders and resources would seem like children fighting over toys in a sandbox. The arrival of a real adult in the room would change the dynamic completely. Humanity might be forced to unite, to speak with one voice for the first time in its history. And what about our beliefs? Our religions, our philosophies, our understandings of our place in the universe are all built on the idea that we are special, that we were created by a divine power, and that we are the pinnacle of that creation. The confirmation of alien life, especially intelligent, technologically advanced life, would challenge the very core of these belief systems. Some might adapt, some might crumble, but no one would be untouched. We would have to find a new way to understand ourselves, our purpose, and our creator. This would be the day the world realizes it's not alone. It would be a slow, eerie, and profound moment of awakening. The end of life as we know it. Not in a fiery explosion, but in a quiet internal shift. The end of normal. Our art, our music, our stories, all of it would change. For centuries our creativity has been directed inward at the human experience. Now we would have a new subject, the ultimate other. Our culture would be forever altered by the knowledge that we share the universe. There would be fear, of course, deep, primal fear. What do they want? Are they friendly? Are they hostile? We would have no way of knowing. Their technology would be so advanced that we would be completely helpless if their intentions were bad. We would be like ants suddenly noticing the shadow of a boot hanging over our anthill. But there would also be hope. Hope for new knowledge. Hope for answers to our deepest questions. Where did we come from? What is the meaning of life? An older, wiser civilization might have the answers. They might share their technology, curing our diseases, solving our energy problems, and helping us become a better species. This is the double-edged sword of contact. It is the possibility of utter destruction and the possibility of ultimate salvation, all wrapped up in one event. The world would be divided. There would be those who welcome the visitors, who see them as saviors, and there would be those who fear them, who see them as a threat. The greatest debate in human history would begin. This is what is at stake. This is why the potential turn of Three-Eye Atlas is so much more than a scientific curiosity. It is a trigger for a complete and total transformation of human society. Andy Signor's quote is the key. The meaning of money would evaporate, and with it, the meaning of so many other things we take for granted. We would be forced to find new meanings, a new purpose. We would be like a child who has lived their whole life in a single room, only to have the door suddenly opened, revealing a mansion filled with wonders and dangers they never imagined. The world would become a much larger and much scarier place. So as we wait for the data, we're not just waiting for a scientific result. We're waiting to see if the world we know is about to end, and if a new, stranger, and more complex world is about to begin. The normal we have always known is fragile, and it might be about to break forever. The night deepens, the critical hours tick by, and the world holds its breath, suspended between two possible futures. This is the moment of truth, lies, and the silence before dawn. As the observation window of October 29th and 30th comes to a close, the object Three-Eye Atlas remains hidden behind the sun, and our official sources remain silent. There have been no press conferences from NASA, no official statements, no confirmations of any kind have been made public. This official silence is unsettling. If the object had simply followed its predicted natural path, it would be easy to release a statement saying so. A simple, all clear, it's just a rock, would put the speculation to rest. But we have not heard that. The silence could mean many things. It could mean the data is still being processed and analysed, a slow and careful procedure. It could mean the government shutdown is still causing delays, or it could mean that they have seen something and they do not know what to do about it. In this vacuum of official information, unofficial reports have started to trickle out. These are not confirmed reports from major space agencies. They are whispers from smaller observatories, from independent trackers, from amateur astronomers with powerful equipment. Some of these unofficial sources are reporting strange things. They are talking about signal anomalies, bursts of radio waves or other electromagnetic energy that seem to be coming from the direction of Three-Eye Atlas. These are not natural signals. They are sharp, structured, and artificial looking. Others have reported electromagnetic spikes, sudden, intense bursts of energy. What could cause such a thing? One possibility is the firing of a powerful engine. A propulsion system far beyond our own might release a wave of energy that we could detect, even from millions of miles away. These unofficial observations hint that something unusual might indeed be happening behind the sun. They suggest that Three-Eye Atlas is not a dead, passive object. It might be active, it might be powering up, it might be making its move. We must be clear. These reports are unconfirmed. They are rumours on the wind. But in the absence of any official word, these rumours are all we have, and they are painting a picture of an object that is very much alive. So we are left in a state of profound uncertainty. We have the official silence on one hand, and the unofficial, exciting and terrifying rumours on the other. Who do we believe? This is the ultimate dilemma. Are we witnessing the slow, careful process of a government preparing to release world-changing news? Or are we witnessing a cover-up in real time, where the truth is being hidden behind a wall of silence and denial? The final moments of this story are filled with these unanswered questions. Has the object turned? Have our probes seen it? Do our leaders know the truth? And if they do, will they ever tell us? The sun will rise tomorrow as it always does, but the world it shines upon may be fundamentally different. We are on the precipice of a new reality. Maybe tomorrow morning we will wake up to a new universe, a universe where we are not alone, a universe filled with new possibilities, new wonders, and new fears. The headlines will be stark. It's confirmed: alien craft in our solar system, and life will never be the same. Or maybe we will wake up to another cover-up. The official story will be released, explaining away all the strange features of 3i Atlas with a new, complex but ultimately natural theory. The world will be told that it was just a false alarm, a misunderstanding, and we will be encouraged to go back to our normal lives to forget the strange object that flew through our sky. The truth is still out there. It may have been revealed in the hidden data from our probes, or it may still be hidden, waiting for us to find it. The silence before the dawn is the most tense moment of all. It is the last moment of the old world before the new one is born. We are waiting for the light of a new day, and the light of a truth that could change us forever. The story of 3i Atlas is not over. It is just beginning, and we are all a part of it. What are your theories? Share them in the comments below. And don't miss any breaking news. Like this video, and subscribe to Popcorn Planet for all future updates.